Yeah. You know what it is. Episode 199 of the Victory Talk podcast. Got a special guest. I'm going to introduce him later. I know this been for like almost 10 years now. I'm super excited to have him on Victory Talk. Matter of fact, let's start the show. Enough time. Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is. It's another episode of that Victory Talk podcast, episode 199. We got a special guest that I will introduce momentarily, but first, I got to introduce myself and the team. I'm your humble and gracious host, the most humble motherfucker ever. I should get like an award for humility. I never talk about how humble I am because I'm better than that. You know what I'm saying? But your humble and gracious host, Big Brandon Carter, BBC, King Keto, the king of ketosis, Gymnasium Jesus, Jesus de Gimnasio para mi gente, de la Washington Heights. And I'm not alone, man. I'm joined by the best producer in the game. The best producer in the game, man. The homie Nima, straight out of Iran.
Thank you, man.
You know what it is, man.
Let's go.
He's like, man, there's been a lot of good producers. There's a lot of good producers, man. We have the best producer in movie, Harvey Weinstein. The best producer in music, P. Diddy. And now we got Nima for podcasts. You know what it is. He's out here, man. He's doing it. Following a long line of great producers in every way. All right. But if not, I'm also joined by Minovia. All right. You know what I'm saying? My girl, she's going to be manning the super chats. She's going to be reading your super chats, kicking out all the fucking haters, banning you, mother. You come here talking crazy, you're going to get banned, banished, exiled indefinitely. She can't wait to do it, man. She's Latina, right? So, it's in her blood to ruin men's lives. So she cannot wait to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Seek her vengeance on you. You know what I'm saying? All right. Listen, we got a lot we want to cover today. First of all, you got the link for the free training in there. All right, two sponsors. First sponsor is me. These other motherfuckers trying to sell you underwear, fucking high-tech mattresses, fucking salt drinks and shit. Right, not me. I'm my own sponsor, right? I'm doing a free training on Wednesday, tomorrow, 7 p.m., where I'll show you exactly how to grow your online fitness business. I'm going to break down how to get clients, how to market yourself, how to grow your following, get clients, right? How to make sales, how to actually sell high ticket to your clients, and how to train them online so they get great results. I'm going to break down the whole shit for you, right? I've helped over 15,000 people grow successful online fitness business, and I'm sure you ought to do it for free tomorrow. And I'm not even going to sell you nothing on there. I'm not even going to say, I know it's hard to believe, man, given my propensity to wanting to sell shit to motherfuckers, but I'm not even going to sell you nothing, man. I'm just going to give you all the game, but you got to register right now. Hit the link in the description. It will get filled up, right? So hit the fucking link now so you don't miss out on that opportunity. All right. Then second sponsor is, this is a product. Me and Nima, we've been working on this for a long time behind the scenes. We haven't talked about it much at all, really. But we've been working on it for about 2 years now. And we're finally ready to bring it to market. Right. This is thought repellent. Thought repellent is the easy to apply spray to keep the hose away, right? So here's the thing: there's a lot of good women in the world, but there's a lot of women who are dangerous, mucho peligroso, right? And they'll fuck your whole life up, right? Thought repellent is genetically engineered by Nima. Helped me out. He found some Iranian scientists from his home to work on it. So it's structured to only work on the DNA of thoughts, hoes, slut hoes, stank hoes, skanks, Jezebels, scallywags, skeezers, and Puerto Ricans. And this, I can make that joke. I can make that joke. You know what I'm saying? Mi gente mucho peligroso. And and it only works. The good women, they'll just be like, man, what is that amazing aroma? And you be like, yo, let's stop repelling, baby. You know what I'm saying? But then, but if a fucking thought or a skank try to come next to you, man, she'll like go into convulsions or something. It'll be like a force field. They'll be impenetrable, right? You can spray this around your home. I spray this around my home. If I forget to do this, man, it'll be like the end of I Am Legend up in here, man. Except it won't be zombies and shit. It'll be fucking OnlyFans hoes trying to get in the motherfucking condo. All right. So we're gonna have this out to the public, but we need your help. We need your super chats. All your super chats go for development of thought repellent. We want to have it in stores by this summer. The summer is close, right? Because that's the thought mating season. Right? And we want to keep you safe, man. All right. So all your super chats go towards this. Listen, now here's the thing. The FDA says we got to say the side effects. No big deal. Small side effects. Side effects include, but are not limited to, erectile explosions, Brazilian wax jiu-jitsu, off-white privilege, minor lung explosions, involuntary Wakanda accent. We have to keep the O's away. Infinity kidney stones, Gaza Strip Club. I don't know if you can laugh at that. NRA memberships, post-nut charity, racism flavored tears, saber-tooth semen, Kentucky Fried Chicken pops, and no slave November. All right. Small price to pay to keep the thoughts away, right? All your super chats go towards development of thought repellent. Now, without further ado, it's time to introduce my guest. I've known this dude for a goddamn decade now. All right. He's a military officer, a decorated military officer and high performance coach. He's been taking the internet by storm lately, right? The homie, Michael Sartain. What up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm excited about No Slave November.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we're doing that. It's about time. Yeah.
It's only 1 month.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What are we going to do the other 11 months?
It's only 1 month. Yeah. Small price to pay.
Yeah, that's great.
So, man, listen, you know, tell the people about yourself. Like, you know, I've known you for mad long, but how to the people who don't know you, let them know what's up.
So you and I actually met at Owen Cook. We had a dinner at the Venetian. We all went together. Yeah. It was like his whole team, and then I think you were speaking there. I think that was the first time we met. And the whole thing, the backstory comes. So I flew special ops for 5 years, and then I did counterintelligence for 2 years for the U.S. Air Force. Then when I got out, I moved here, and I was still like loosely involved with like the pickup community, but I was more involved in like male self-improvement.
Yeah. It was just in general. Owen from Mars D, if y'all don't know.
Yeah. RC Tyler,
who's like big brother to me and shit.
Yeah. And so I met a lot of those guys. I actually worked as an approach coach for like Mystery for a little while. And then I met Owen much later. I actually met Neil Strauss as well. And there was this thing where it's like, I'll tell you right now, the stuff that like Mystery was doing as far as the pickup artist, if anybody remembers that, the book, The Game, that was probably the best thing you could do in 2003 because there's no social media back then.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't the guy with the Bugatti stealing your girl and taking her, flying her to Dubai. That what didn't exist because there was no social media back then. So actually, like what they were doing was probably the most optimal. And what happened over time, and it's not just pickup artists, but it was just like the whole dating community. Social media came out, and for men, it was actually more important than for women. Women could just be kind of all right, reach out to celebrities, and then get those guys to like message back.
Yeah.
Men, if men had bad social media, like nobody noticed you. Like you just didn't even matter. Like how often do you talk to your neighbors? Do you talk to your neighbors here very often?
You
don't know any of them. When I was growing up back in the 1980s, I knew all my neighbors. We don't do that anymore. Yeah. We're so stuck to our phone. We live in a very different society. The malls and coffee shops are not filled with beautiful women. It's like we live in a very different time. And so because of that, a few things that happened was, number one, social media was kind of missed by the whole dating community. Pickup artists, they push way more towards dating apps, which I have tons of stats on this. There's 9 times as many guys as girls on Tinder.
Really?
Yeah, it's a disaster. The average guy on a dating app matches with 6 out of every 1,000 right swipes, and 69% of men have reported having a platonic relationship from a dating app. So you're paying money to a dating app, and you're getting friend zoned.
Wow.
Isn't that great? I would rather a girl spit in my face, honestly, than get friend zoned. And here's the other one. You know those roses and the super likes that you can do on those dating apps?
I haven't been on one for a minute. I've been in a relationship for 3 years, and then I was in a relationship for like 2 years right before that.
There's a new thing on Bumble. You can pay $500 a month, and they'll actually let you message the girls first. But here's the crazy thing. Shit. The people who buy the roses and the super chat, their match rate gets cut in half. So the dating apps actually have you spending more money to have worse results with women.
Ain't that some shit?
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
It goes from 2% to 1%. Go ahead.
So why is that? So you bring that up because the stuff that you teach, right, is different than what
it's very transgressive.
Owen, and even before that, Mystery. I never met Mystery, man. I've only heard great things about, right? You know what I'm saying? What they taught, right? Your stuff is different.
Yeah.
Explain how.
So the 3 things that I kind of figured out that were very different was, number 1, social media is the easiest way for you to show status with low perceived effort.
Yeah.
If you were an accountant, or if you're a plastic surgeon, or if you were a car salesman, and you're like, hey, we're going to not use the social media at all in order to advertise, we'd look at you like you were a moron. Like, what's wrong with you? But it's not even that it's bad advice. We would look at you like you were insane. Yeah. If you said that.
Yeah. We're both like in our 40s, right? Yeah. So like it's kind of not having social media now is the way it was. Remember when people first started using email? Yeah. And some of us like, I don't have email. Yeah. And they got to the point where they were weird.
Yeah.
That's what
you were weird for not having internet, not having social media, not having a cell phone back in like 02, 03. Yeah. I remember that. Like it was like that. And so what happened was a lot of the first thing is that they didn't understand that the main thing about social media is that you can show status while you sleep. So for instance, if I invest if I have an investment property, or I invest in a certificate of deposit, it gives me interest while I sleep. If you have Brandon Carter social media, right, and you're in a relationship, but if you were single,
I got a girlfriend.
Yeah, you have a girlfriend. But if you were single, let's just say you bump into a girl out at some venue or whatever. Yeah. Now, between that time and the first time you guys meet up for a date or hang out or whatever, she's looking at your social media and it's building attraction while you sleep. This is real hard for guys to grasp. And here's the other thing. And you probably, well, again, you're in a relationship, so maybe, but you probably
single at one point.
Yes. Yeah. Women are flakier now than they were 20 years ago. It's not even close. It's insane how flaky they are. I'll be in a room, 100 guys. I'm giving a speech. I'll be like, who's here has been dating for more than 15 years? And they'll raise their hand. Yeah. It's like, who here has noticed women are more flaky in the last decade or whatever? And 100% of them will see this. And the reason why is they get their validation through social media. They get their validation online. Yeah. And two extreme examples, they get their validation from OnlyFans. $6.6 billion went to OnlyFans creators. Yeah. You want to know the craziest stat? And here probably won't be surprised. You live in Miami, so this is the OnlyFans capital of the world. Yes. Here. Yeah. There are 52 million women in the United States between like say 20 and 40. And we'll just say those are the OnlyFans years. Yeah. Mostly, right? Maybe 20 to 35, somewhere in that area.
There's a market for over 40.
Well, there is a market. But let's just say most women over 40 are on OnlyFans. There's 1.4 million women on OnlyFans.
Wow.
Okay. That means that about 3% of women, or 1 out of every 30 women you meet in the country, is on OF.
Wow.
Now, for those of you who are listening to this, like, well, 1 out of 30 doesn't sound that bad. No. It's not the girl on OF. It's the girl who watches her. So she goes to a gym and she pulls up in a Maybach because she's making $100K a month, right? But what does that do to all the other women in that gym? What it does is, instead of becoming a surgical nurse, finishing their master's degree, or becoming a mother, what they do is they see that and they're like, oh shit, $100,000 a month. And so there's downstream ramifications for all these other women who are seeing this. And you're doing a couple things. You're taking women who might be qualified for certain jobs like a nurse out of the marketplace. And then additionally, you're teaching women at a very young age to sell their sexuality before anything else, instead of working on any other skill set. And so again, I'm not here trying, OnlyFans isn't going away. But what I'm saying is this is the downstream ramification. So now I'm not saying that the guys who are on these dating apps are all trying to date OnlyFans creators. What I'm saying is it's the girls, it's the few derivatives down from those girls. They're like, well, no, I have a friend. She's going to Dubai. She's going to Monaco. She's doing this. That's what I deserve as well. And so because she can fuck a 10, she thinks she can date a 9. And that's where we get into a problem. So like, for instance, for us as men, our net worth is based on a number that is in our bank account, right? Our accountant can tell us our net worth. It's not subjective. It might be subjective when it comes to like what your sale price for your home, but for the most part,
or like what you can sell, like what me and you could sell our businesses for.
Yes, correct. That's subjective. But if we did sell it all, there would be an objective number, and that number is where supply and demand meets. When we as men, we understand this concept. For me, my sexual market value is based on how many attractive women would be willing to have sex with me. That is crass and as fucking horrible as that sounds. That is actually how your sexual market value is. It doesn't mean you're a good person. You can be a terrible person and have a lot of women want to sleep with you. Yeah, you can
I know some of those guys.
Yes, you can be a great person and have no women want to sleep with you.
I know some of those guys.
Yes, correct. So we're just talking sexual market value. So that's easy for us to understand as a man. And if you see a guy who's like punching way above his weight, he's like 5'4" and he's like banging 10s and he's not using any money to do it, we would be like, wow, that's amazing. We would actually see that as an accomplishment because we're men and we know how hard those accomplishments are to make more money, to get pretty girls to notice us, etc. And so with women, it's the opposite. Women, their sexual market value is defined by the highest status men they can get to commit.
Yeah,
but they think it's sex.
Is different.
But they think it's sex. They think because they fucked Drake, and in their mind, Drake is a 10. Therefore, they're a 10. And then but then you're like, well, who can you get to commit? And they can't get anyone to commit, and they don't understand that their sexual market value is based on the highest status man they can get to commit. And here's the other part: no matter how they feel about themselves, their SMV is not based on their internal feelings. So when they call themselves a 10, it's like, that's fine that you believe about yourself. But remember, as a man, I don't get to define how much money I have. The market tells me what I'm worth.
That's a fact.
So you don't get to define what your rating is in a sexual marketplace. The market will tell you that. And then you'll be confused because you'll get so much attention from very wealthy men, high status men, handsome men, famous men. And you'll confuse that attention for thinking that's the value that I have.
Yeah.
Not recognize. Do you remember Zion Williamson plays power forward for the?
I know Zion. So, I know you love basketball. Yeah, so like we were the same in that regard.
So remember, Zion is he's announcing that he's having a baby with his girlfriend, and then the porn star that he fucked.
I remember that.
She's on there being like, "Why are you with this whore? Like you're supposed to be with me." Blah blah blah. And that prostitute, the porn star, she thought.
Same shit.
It's exactly the same thing. She thought because she had sex with Zion that she's on par with Zion's girl. Like, no, you're not on.
No.
But do you understand how that screws her up for the rest of her life? She's never going to be able to make the supply curve and the demand curve meet. They'll never meet because she thinks she's somewhere where she truly isn't. The difference between where you think you are and where you actually are, that is delusion. Michael Jordan wasn't delusional. He really was the best player in the world.
Yeah.
But if a girl is actually a 6 and thinks that she can marry a 10, that is delusion. And so what does that do? All the people that she could be in happy relationships with, she doesn't give them any chance.
Right.
Which goes to that other study we were talking about before this. There's a crazy study that goes over what happens to human beings when they see unattractive people. So women find 80% of men on dating apps to be unattractive.
Okay.
But that doesn't make any sense when you think about it. So average level of attractiveness is the top 20% of men. Like, how does that make sense? For men, we're the opposite. The 50th percent, like an average looking woman, we would say is average. You and I would probably agree that girl's a 5. That means half the girls are less attractive than her, half the girls are more attractive than her. And then we saw a girl with like perfect facial symmetry, looks young, super hot. We'd be like, that girl's a 10. We'd probably agree to a certain extent on who's a 9, who's a 10, etc.
We would like, you know, at the top end is like, that's where like there might be some variations.
There might be some variations. I like big butts, you like big boobs, whatever. But for sure. But for the most part, we would kind of see the same thing. We would see that same
with a large enough sample size, we'd come to like agreements.
For sure. And so that's like kind of the massive difference. Whereas with women, they can't agree necessarily on like who. Well, here's the thing with women. For when it comes to just physical attractiveness, they're so selective and picky, and they become picky because of dating apps. OnlyFans and social media. they become so picky that they're starting to see this like top 20% is, again, if you get a taste for the finer things and you only eat at the best steakhouses and you only drive a $400,000 supercar, you start to only see those things as being attractive. These women are getting that level of stimulus. Do you understand? This is the crazy part. When you think about Kim Kardashian, who probably does know a bunch of famous people, and then the average thought chick who lives in Miami, their images on social media are the same.
You mean what they see?
What they see. So like they're entitled to the same level of stimulus. Does that make sense? The perfect 10 Ukrainian model who literally could get anyone, and the girl who lives in Wichita who's slightly overweight, but she's the prettiest girl at her Hooters. They get the same images on social media. And so they start believing, like it starts warping their brain the same. So here's the crazy part. Women find 80% of men on dating apps to be unattractive. 80%. That's fucking crazy when you think about how picky that is. So here's what happens. When humans see individuals that are unattractive, we talked about this before this call, men see them as annoyances. So when we see women that are unattractive, there's this part, and this has to do, by the way, with your caveman's necessity to avoid disease. People who had asymmetrical faces may have had some sort of parasite or disease. So we avoid asymmetry and things like that. And it's also generally why we don't find 70-year-old women attractive, because they don't have that youthful symmetrical look. So when we see that as men, we do find that annoying when we see women that are unattractive. Here's the crazy part. Women don't see unattractive men as annoying. They just don't see them at all. They legitimately dehumanize them. They see unattractive men as the same thing as an inanimate object, a pencil on the table.
We were talking about this before.
Tons of data on this.
Girls will say something like, man, there's nobody works in Miami. Nobody, I hear girls saying nobody work. What everybody? Nobody works. I'm like, motherfucker, there's somebody working in your building, like in the lobby. There's motherfuckers working at the gym. There's motherfuckers working.
It's so madness
at the restaurants you go to every day where you get your fucking matcha shit. There's people working there. They don't even see these people, like they're not even real people.
So here's the other part. I was on Saucecast one time and we were doing the surveys with these girls, and they're like, what do you think is the biggest problem with dating in Miami? And this girl goes, well, the problem is like all they care about is their Bugattis. And I'm like, I don't think there are 300 Bugattis in the entire United States. Like it's just so crazy how
that's the only guy she saw.
Yeah, that's the only guy she saw. She literally didn't see the other ones.
There's like 5 Bugattis in Miami.
And it's just madness. It's and when you see that kind of thing, and then you come to the realization, it's like, and by the way, at no point am I blaming women. This is where I'm going to separate from a lot of other content creators like this. This is just a function of Charles Darwin. It's a function of evolution.
It's just what it is.
We're totally mismatched. Have you ever seen, there's these stories about Aboriginal people when they give them McDonald's, they all end up with diabetes because they're not evolutionarily matched to have that much carb, sugar, and fat. Most humans are not. That's why we have an obesity problem in this country. It's called an evolutionary mismatch. So for women and men to get this much, so for men to see this much non-contextual sexual images like pornography, that's an evolutionary mismatch. And for women to see to get this much attention, do you understand? Like Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, probably doesn't get as many women in his DMs as the average hot Colombian chick in this city gets from men. Do you understand? You could be a famous NFL player and you probably don't get as much thrown at you as an average woman does. Right. And so you come to that realization, then it's like, okay, well, now we have this whole thing where it's just tilted towards this small group of men who are physically attractive. And then which comes into, and I know I'm leading you down this path, this narrative, but I've been doing this research all week. And it's really fascinating. There's another study that shows that the longer people have known each other, the more likely it is that their attractiveness levels do not correlate.
Oh, before we get, let me lead you into that, right? Because, okay. You see something different than most of the guys who talk about dating, right? Most of the guys saying you should never have female friends. I don't want female friends. And I always thought that was kind of stupid because I just felt like, you have more opportunities to date women if you have a lot of female friends around for a variety of reasons. One is having female friends is social proof to the other girls.
Yes.
Right. And also those girls have like friends and family members who might want to mate with you at some point, right? But you're the only person in the dating world who actually teaches to actually have female friends, which I think is dope. Can you talk about that more?
Yeah. So there's 3 main reasons why so a lot of guys get really bent out of shape when they hear the term female friends.
Yeah.
So we'll say female teammates so that you guys don't lose your mind.
All right.
Having female teammates, people that are in the U Army that are on your side. There's 3 reasons why you have them. Number 1, they give you access to incredible places. Can you imagine you and me and 10 guys trying to get into Mr. Jones like on a Friday night? It's not happening. If we spend $100,000, it's not happening. They're not letting us in there, right? But if I show up with 10 girls, I don't even have to pay to get in. I used to go to the Playboy Mansion for free. The tickets were $1,500, but I would bring 20 or 30 girls with me. So me having women around me, like here's the crazy thing in Vegas. It's probably like this in Miami. If I take 2 girls to dinner, it's going to be $300-$400. If I take 10 girls to dinner, it's free. Yeah, it's free because it's a comp. That's the way it works. So what happens is, number 1, and also I go to a lot of self-help conferences, so it may be the Aspire Tour, Apex Tour. I might go see Ty Lopez speak, whoever. When I do, I always show up with girls. And they are every guy in there is like, who the fuck is this guy who showed up to this room where it's 99 dudes for every woman and he's got 6 hot girls with him? So number 1, having female friends gets you access. Number 2, it makes you calibrated. A lot of guys are just, take your average client and you put him in front. So ready, here's you want this dream girl. Ready, here we go. Here's your dream girl. I'm going to put her right in front of you. You pee yourself. Your eyes get big, your voice cracks, palms start sweating, you start like your voice gets high like this. Hey, you want to go get a drink? Like you watch it. I watch this happen all the time. If I put your dream girl in front of you, you don't have the technology, you don't have the skill set, the strategy, you don't have the experience. You don't have the expertise, the intuition to be able to deal with this attractive woman in front of you.
You start talking crazy,
correct,
acting crazy.
But if you're surrounded by beautiful women all the time, which for me, my point of having that is I managed a strip club for 4 years. And so I was constantly around just naked women all the time. They would sexualize, get groped in the DJ booth. I just totally and completely unaffected by their boobs. Like their nudity and physical attractiveness was totally lost.
You were desensitized.
Completely desensitized. And I just noticed how insanely attracted they got to me because I was totally desensitized by it.
Makes a lot of sense.
So that's the second thing is it desensitizes you to your dream girl. If you're around a bunch of girls who look like Megan Fox all the time, when you meet Megan Fox, it doesn't
it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
Flip out. Because,
And number 3, here's the big one. And any guy who works in sales, who understands anything about referrals, you understand this concept.
Come on, man. Tell them about the referrals.
Yes. Women introduce you to more women.
Yes.
And here's the crazy part. The girl that you friend zone and she introduces you to your friend and you start dating her friend, guess what happens after a year? The first girl who you friend zone, now she has a crush on you. I had a girl,
but you got to keep her in the friend zone. You got to friend zone her.
Yes, you have. So that's the main thing. You have to friend zone women. This is so hard for people to grasp. If you're a man, you've ever been friend zoned, it's the worst. I actually would rather be cheated on than get friend zoned back. I hate beginning friend zone. You go after a girl and she tries to friend zone you. But again, in order for you to get friend zoned, you have to accept. You have to accept the demotion. You and I are friends. At no point did I say, "Hey, let's just be friends." Because we're men, right? But that's the thing. That's the difference. But with a woman, it's like she says, "Let's just be friends." What is she saying? It's like your penis is not worthy. You are not worthy of sexual access, so I'm going to demote you to this position.
Basically, called you a bitch
for sure. And here's what makes it worse: all of her other female friends, they know she friends on you too. So you are either a beta male, look like you have a micro penis, whatever it is. I had a friend of mine, a girl that I'm friends with, and her and I are like, she's always had a boyfriend since I've known her. We've never hit on each other. We've been friends for maybe 12 years. And she keeps seeing me, like I'm not her type, and she's actually not my type, but she's very attractive. She's just not my type. And she went up to my best friend kindly.
Black. Huh? I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. Keep going.
No. She's really pretty. It's so funny. All of my clients think she's like the hottest chick ever.
Okay.
So she comes up to my best friend kindly, who again, my best friend is a Playboy model with 3 million followers who has gotten me laid so many times. I seriously, like I'd do anything for this girl. Like every time I walk up to a girl with this girl, there's no effort. There's no work involved. She goes up to my best friend kindly and she goes, how is Michael with hot girls? Does he have a humongous penis? Like, why is that? How is he always with hot girls? Her reality is breaking because she doesn't see me as that physically attractive, but she keeps seeing me with beautiful women all the time, and it's confusing her. And she's trying to square the circle. And not in her situation because she has a boyfriend. I know her boyfriend, but in general, that's what generates attraction.
Yeah.
That's what generates
and
attraction.
it's social proof.
Social proof.
It's social proof. Yeah.
So social proof. So this is a really crazy distinction for those of you really into the evolutionary psychology stuff here. Social proof and pre-selection. Pre-selection is actually called mate choice copying in humans.
Yeah.
Mate choice.
We got it over here in Art of one of these David bus. Yeah.
Mate choice copying and social proof are two separate phenomena. And I used to think they were the same phenomenon. Meaning, so here's what happens. If you have a bunch of beautiful women with you, and they see you on a regular basis with a bunch of beautiful women, two things happen. Number one, women do find you more attractive. But number two, men also want to network with you, and you are perceived as higher status. These are two separate phenomena that I was not aware. I used to think they were the same phenomena. They are two psychologically different phenomena. And it's something that I've noticed is like, I don't have any, my favorite podcasters, they generally ask me to come on. Why? Because I'm surrounded by beautiful women. It's one of these things where it's like, because people ask me all the time about like Andrew Tate. How did I meet Andrew Tate? The reason why I met Andrew Tate is because I had a bunch of videos of me with like stunning girls all the time. And his team messaged me, and then that's how we connected, right? That's how we did it. Because some guy, same thing, like Fresh says this all the time. He goes, Michael, you're the only guy who I know who says that he can do this shit. And then when I go to Vegas, everything you say is true. Okay? You're surrounded by hot girls. You can get us on stage at every single nightclub. But why is that? It's because of the networking that I do that allows me that ability. But let's go back to that study that we mentioned before. And when people knew each other for a period of time, so let's say a man and a woman meet, if they start dating within the first month, their attractiveness correlates to a high degree. Okay. So the best way to date a super hot girl that you just met is to be a super hot man. Yeah. According to this study. Okay. Her name is Lucy Hunt. Did this study back in 2015. Okay. And then later on, it goes at 4 months, 5 months, that correlation, it starts at about 0.7. It drops to like 0.5, 0.4, 0.3. So it's like you can actually be less attractive, but if you've known the girl for 4 months, it's actually more likely. But here's the crazy part. At 9 months, the statistical correlation is not significantly different from 0. That's the exact wording in the study, meaning there's no correlation. So if you're the guy who's the 5 and you want to date the 10, you put her in the friend zone for 9 months. Yeah. And the data now completely supports what we teach in Men of Action, my course. It completely supports this now. And so that's why a lot of people have had a hard time with it, because a lot of guys in this space, they're angry at women, and they've been friend zoned by women. So the idea of having women help you meet other women is so anathema. I didn't say go to women for dating advice. That's not what I said. What I said was have the girl go with 6 girls, and they get you invited. It's like you're going to the club, and they're like, hey, I just got invited to a mansion party. There's like 25 girls and like 3 dudes there. He said you can come because you got 6 girls with him. And now you're at a mansion party. You're meeting a billionaire while at a party where there's 7 girls for every guy. Yeah. You got access. And let's just say for this example, all the girls that were in your Range Rover, all 7 of them, you weren't sleeping with any of them. Yeah. But when you go to that party, you walked in with 7 girls. And now every other girl at the party is like, who the fuck is this dude who just walked in with 7 girls? Yeah. And it's just, so it's really crazy because like, Brandon, we can't make them taller. We can't change their eye color. We can't change their skin color. We can make them richer. We can. You're talking about the guys. The guys. We can do certain things. But one thing is always free, and that is like the perception of status and pre-selection. Those things we can get any guy for free. So Sandeep from New Delhi or the 5'5" Filipino cashier, those guys, if they have pre-selection, their attractiveness in the eyes of women increases. Remember what I said before? If women don't see you as attractive, you don't even exist to them. Yeah. You literally are an inanimate object to them. And so that's the thing that's crazy. And by the way, if anybody wants, they can message me. I will give you the data to support. I will show you the studies that support everything I'm saying. None of this is trust me, bro.
We have his Instagram in the
I have the YouTube. I'm going to have the Instagram as well.
Right for sure. And so, because a lot of people and there's a really funny thing that I've noticed, Brandon, is when I express my opinion, I don't really get that much hate. When I show data that actually enforces my opinion, people lose their
more hate from the data.
The data, the body count stuff. It's true. Like really, men and women who have higher body counts are less happy in a marriage. It's true for men and women, but it's twice as true for women. That nobody likes that. That is a biological double standard, and it's almost like biology is misogynistic. It is true. When women have a higher body, it's almost like a woman's dissatisfaction at a body count of 20 is equal to a man's dissatisfaction of a body count of 40. Does that make sense? I'm way oversimplifying this, but the variation is about 2 to 1. Whereas women, their dissatisfaction per partner before they get married is twice as much as it is for men. Well, the problem is that pisses a lot of people off, because what does it do? It sounds like I'm encouraging men to fuck a bunch of women and women to stay celibate. It's not, but I'm not telling you do whatever you want. I have friends that are porn stars. I love them as people. I just don't want to date them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't want to date them, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I wanted to get back in that, but like the friend thing, right? Like it was because I wouldn't say because I felt like I would get too much hate from the manosphere.
You will, yeah.
It's okay to have girlfriends, but it was just it's been a cheat code for me in many areas of life.
Yeah.
One, there used to be this girl, I forget her name. She used to work for me, and she was in like all my videos back when I was in New York, and people found her attractive, right? And every time like I would post her, like girls would start DMing me, say what's up. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like it's the way the female brain works. And then so I would have a lot of female friends in New York, just girls I was cool with, right? And I would introduce them to like some of my homies, maybe somebody I want to do business with, right? And I've gotten deals.
Yes, you got deals done.
You know, I made money.
Yeah,
on my female friends with just introducing them to other dudes, right? So maybe, I introduced her to a baller, she's happy. I introduced the baller to a fucking New York City model. Then it's like, all right, everyone's happy. I don't know what happens after that. And I don't even care. The fact that I did it, even if they don't end up doing nothing, the fact that I did it, there's reciprocity there from the dude.
The term we call that is value arbitrage. So you made a deal. So arbitrage means I make a risk-free transaction. If I introduce a man who has like societal value of a 10 to a woman who has a societal value of a 10, they then look at me as a 10. It's like Euclidean geometry of A equals B and B equals C, then C equals A. It's the same kind of situation. So I've done this several times before where it has been the billionaire and the Ukrainian runway model. I introduce them to each other and both of them see me on par with them. That's the arbitrage. Meaning my status in their eyes has increased and I did nothing. I risked nothing in order to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why what you're saying, of course, networking. And think about this, man. This is really, for people who don't understand why this is so important. Let me just try to take this back, like for the survival of the species. If you consider men pre-fire, so human beings created fire about 1.7 million years ago, and in that time period before that, men did not have the brain capacity. We're talking about hominids. There was no Homo sapiens until 200,000 years ago, but they couldn't kill the lion, the tiger, the bear. They couldn't kill the apex predators. Human beings were not the apex predator on the planet until what? They started working together.
Yeah.
A Homo sapien is the apex predator on the planet, but not one Homo sapien. It's a team of them working together with spears and planning things out and knowing that the prey is going to be at the watering hole at this time and doing pathfinding. And the other thing is human beings, because of our advanced sweat glands, we can travel longer distances walking than almost any animal on the planet.
That's right, because dogs and cats don't have sweat glands.
Right, they don't have sweat glands.
They have to pant.
Well, by the way, this is also the reason why the 100 men would kill a gorilla. It's because the gorilla would wear itself out. Yeah, gorillas only have sweat glands in their armpits. They don't have sweat glands all over their body. They would overheat very quickly.
First guys would get their
they get fucked up.
They die. But like,
yeah. So going back to what I said before, it's like as human beings, how were we able to overcome that when we were ancestral? And there's a few things, like we said before, about the human beings when we see people that are unattractive. So just consider this: like you're a Pleistocene Homo sapien, I forgot. I'm sorry, I switched subjects here. We're not the apex predator until we start working together as human beings, and then we are networking. So what you'd say is, since our ancestors networked, and those are the ones who had more access to women and then reproduced, that the networking gene continues to get passed down. And so what happens is, throughout history, you see a correlation between the men who are the best networkers and the men who have the access to the most resources and the most sexual access throughout history. It's ubiquitous. It's just the way it works. You even see it with certain primates where like the two beta males will team up to kill the alpha male. You will see that, right? What is that? That is cooperation and networking that happens. And it does work sometimes like that. But like, that's the thing. And so we as humans, the more we get into our phone, the worse we become at networking. We can't read facial cues. In real life, we get worse. This again, remember evolutionary mismatch? This is the mismatch. And so we get worse and worse at being able to talk to other people. And so now our networking skill set, it gets duller and duller. And so now the guys who actually work on that skill set have more access to deals and they have more access to girls. Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense, man. Yeah. So I really encourage, I'm glad you're saying it, because I ain't want to be the one to say it. I'm just going to
I got called so many fucking names for the last 16 years because I said this. And then I was like, bro, look at my IG. Like, I'm dating again, I'm not saying that I'm dating the hottest girls. What I'm saying is I'm nobody with driving a 10-year-old Lexus
Mm.
with a I got my first Rolex because
that's nice.
thank you,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Skyway.
I just bought my
It's new.
yeah. My Owen twisted my arm and got me to buy a Skydwell.
Hey, I like it.
Yeah.
I was talking to him about he's about to get an RM.
For sure.
Anyway,
So the whole situation happens, and you're sitting there trying to impress these women. You're sitting there trying to do a bunch of stuff, but it's very difficult as a human being to be able to compete with all these other individuals throughout history. And you see, like, again, the Pleistocene Homo sapiens, what do? They networked, and the ones that networked had an advantage over everyone else. You become this incredible force. Now, here's the other thing. What are like the most highest watched shows we see on TV? It's like the World Cup. What are we watching? Men with other men competing to accomplish a goal. What are we seeing when the Super Bowl? It's the same kind of thing. We watch people team up in groups. And I will say that I've said this a million times. The apex of human existence is accomplishing goals with other people and having a family. Like those are the two things. And by the way, having a family, you're also accomplishing a goal with another person. And so that's why our species survived as long as it did, is because our ability to network. And so now when you guys hear me talk so much about networking and social media and all this kind of stuff, understand that's where it comes from. Your ancestors did all this work. And here's the other thing I want you to think about. If you're a guy watching this and you haven't been with a woman in 4 or 5 years, you're not doing well financially, you're living with your mother or whatever, I want you to think about the brutish, hellish nature that your ancestors had to go through just to get to fuck one woman. 40% of men throughout history and 80% of women have reproduced, which means 60% of men throughout history did not reproduce. That's the competitive nature of it. Think about all the predators they had to kill, the fortifications they built, all the protection, all the things that your male ancestors did to survive just so they could have one wife they could have a kid with. Yeah. All that brutish, horrible nature just so you could sit there like a fat fuck and play video games and watch porn. Think about your ancestors watching you right now and how weak you are in comparison, like all the sacrifices they made just so they could reproduce, just so they could have you. Yeah. If you think about that, then it's just like, I would be embarrassed thinking about my ancestors from like the 1850s, just seeing like, no, I'm going to go out and accomplish shit.
Yo, I tell other black people this all the time, man. I can say this, but you might want to stay out of this one. But I tell them, like, yo, bro, when they tell me they're broke, I get so mad. I'm like, yo, man, just not long ago. Yeah. Right. Motherfuckers were actually fighting for us to have the opportunities we have right now. I get so fucking frustrated when a black guy is broke, because we have all opportunities now that were fought for, people died for, and people call me a sellout for saying that. I'm like, no, man, you need to take advantage of the opportunities. But I didn't even think about taking it back to fucking prehistoric time. Yeah, I was taking it back to the 60s.
Yeah, you are the result of an unbroken, almost blockchain of DNA that goes all the way back to Australopithecus 3 million years ago. So like the only thing I know about every person you've ever met is that their ancestors successfully reproduced. Yeah, that's the only thing I know for certain. And so if that's the only thing we all have in correlation, then you need to ask yourself, like, think about all the dude. Life is so easy now. Do you understand? Before, this is one of my favorite stats for any of these pickup artists and guys who are players. Before the advent of broad spectrum antibiotics, syphilis had a 58% mortality rate. Imagine all your friends you knew who got syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, whatever. 58% mortality rate.
There was no condom.
And there's no, I mean, consider how crazy that is. You don't understand how lucky dude, we're sitting here in an air-conditioned place right now. Like we have electricity. Oh, I want food. Boop. And then food just shows up.
You know what the problem is? It's easy to be a lazy motherfucker now, because even somebody on fucking Section 8 welfare or whatever, their lives are better than like kings from 200 years ago.
That's a great example. So the example I use is Henry VIII died of gout. Okay, Henry. Well, so I know homeless people who can get treatment for gout now. Yeah. And Henry VIII died of gout in the 1560s.
He didn't have no air conditioning.
Yeah, exactly. He had no air conditioning. He'd shit out in outside and openly defecate. All this kind of stuff.
If you want to get entertained, he had to fucking call the jester.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, no internet,
your phone,
exactly.
Play video games. You know,
his wife annoyed him. He had to kill her. Like it was. Think about all that.
And he had to keep killing.
Had to keep killing him.
And bro, I remember not having cable. And you remember when we were kids, like real little, not having being. Remember how boring it would be sometimes as a little kid with no cable.
Go to my friend's place because they had cable or they had a Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if they had a Nintendo, I'd lose my mind.
I remember not having Nintendo or cable, and there was nothing for kids to watch until Saturday.
Yeah.
Right now, my son, he got any fucking cartoon he wants to watch on demand. The video game.
Your son can go back and watch every episode of the Transformers that we missed back in 1984, 1986. He can go back and watch every episode for free on the internet now, and we couldn't do that. So yeah, you're right. It's just gotten progressively easier. And here's the thing. Here's how I try to remember it. Peaceful people can sleep comfortably in their bed at night, because there are rough men somewhere else willing to do violence on their behalf. As long as we recognize that the society that we have today only exists because of a few brutish, violent men who are willing to chisel out this cubbyhole of safetyness so that we can argue whether or not men should wrestle in high school wrestling.
Yeah.
Whether or not the crazy things that we still debate
we fight
right now.
about that dumb shit is like, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But the only reason we can have that debate, the only reason Mia Khalifa can say it's worse that you join the military than you do porn, right? Because at least in the military, you're giving the government your body or whatever she said. The only reason she can say that is because men in the military who were incredibly violent were willing to carve out this cubbyhole where she could say stupid shit.
Yeah.
And we just forget that. And that's what happens as society gets easier and more technologically advanced. It breeds weaker men, and those weaker men, as they take over, and then you start seeing like, you need to go to therapy and become more vulnerable. It's like, that's insane. Like, are you serious?
That's fucking madness.
Let me say, listen. You and I probably have several friends. They just started telling their girlfriend their problems, and the girl just left. Right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, if you want your girl to leave really quick, just tell her all your problems. Now, if these women are leaving these men when they tell them their problems, and we're being told to be more expressive and to talk about our feelings more with our partner, and then that's causing them to leave these men, it sounds like a trap to me. That's what it sounds like. The American Psychological Association, back in 2018, they put out this paper basically saying that traditional masculinity was harmful, and they specifically talked about aggression, assertiveness, and like stoicism.
Oh yeah,
stoicism is harmful. Like, who do you think like puts out the fire when your house is burning and saves your children? Is it excited, crazy men who are crying, or is it stoic men?
Yeah, exactly.
Who do you think storms beaches? Like, who do you think that it is stoic men who do this? It's just like the lack of gratitude that humanity now has for the men who like created the world that we're in. And by the way, it's only going in one direction, because once AI happens, and you're going to see a bunch of people not working, and it's good.
That's something that I want to. You know what? I want to ask you more about that shit in a minute. But I forgot to tell you, we do a quick break in the podcast where my man Young Candlestick talks about the market update. All right, let's get into it. Yo, what up, Young Candlestick, man? What up, Pop?
What's up, homie? I'm going to keep this quick because I love listening about social media. I love this conversation. Really good stuff. And fantastic. Michael, thank you for your service, by the way. Much
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Much respect to you. So I'm just briefly going to go over the markets. I'll keep it quick. Markets are blistering to the upside. So the fear and greed index, people are getting greedy in the stock market. So basically, the market today was up about 0.66%, but it's having a really strong rally. And if we take a look at some of the other sectors like the IWM, the Russell 2000, that's kind of lagging a little bit behind. But now the semiconductors are starting to be strong. So
that's a huge gap up, right?
Yeah, definitely gap up and push up near the highs. We had a great morning futures trading. So
we got it in today.
Risk on assets are starting to move. So Bitcoin's staying strong, pretty much close to all-time highs. So no red flags on the market. Besides that, it's just a bit overbought. It's gotten a bit carried away short term. From the lows, the S&P 500 is up about 22%. Okay. So where are the opportunities? Where are the opportunities in the market? I really like silver. I'm bullish on silver, at least just the price of the ETF SLV. This is starting to form a bullish flag. It would start to trigger if we start to, break above SLV $31 per share. And if you're new, I am a chartered market technician. So basically I'm a professional when it comes to forecasting and analyzing stock prices.
You just passed your Series 65, right?
Yeah, I passed the Series 65.
Come on, man. Let's go. Shout out to the homies.
It's the hardest step to become an investment advisor. So that's
Come on, man.
We're gonna get a hedge fund launched. It's gonna be cool.
Come on, man. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. So that's silver. That's kind of the opportunity. Ethereum as well is starting to really lead. Ethereum's gone on a nice tear from the lows. Ethereum's up 96%.
Holy shit.
It's still a lot of work to do, but it basically just means risk on assets are still going on. They're still going up. Last time on the Victory Talk podcast, I said, look for Uber longs or buying Uber stock.
You said it. Go watch the tape. He said Uber longs.
Check it out. I mean,
come on, man.
And by the way, none of this is financial advice. This is just all for educational purposes only. But I'm just telling you that I'm buying Uber on this breakout. So Uber price target upgrade by Goldman Sachs, 110 per share is Goldman Sachs price target. So all Uber still has some space to rise. If it were to pull back to prior all-time highs, that could be a support level. Okay. Yeah. Another one that both Brandon and I have been pushing or kind of talking about, Axon. And
I've been talking about tell him when I told him about Axon.
Oh man, you called out Axon back when it was $326 per share.
Fucking right.
I know, right?
Let's go.
This is a good investment. This is a good stock. Up 121%. Axon, I'm still bullish as long as it holds the prior all-time highs. Call it about 710. So Axon, Victory Trades members are making money from that. Tesla, I gave a bullish breakout idea on Tesla. Ever since we started to break above 295, I gave a price target of 330. We're at that price target right now, and Tesla's still pushing up. So Tesla remaining neutral / bullish, at least in the short term. Longer term, I am bullish Tesla. It just carries a lot of risk for the year of 2025 and early 2026.
I'm not bullish Tesla.
That's really cool.
I'm definitely not. Until they come out with the sex robot, I'm not fucking bullish Tesla because the marketing, right? Like it was mostly liberals I knew driving Teslas, right? And Elon has switched sides. So honestly, man, as soon as he gave his heart to him, I put a short on Tesla, right? Not for no political reasons, that whatever. And I just like, this is a conflict with the market base, right? Conservatives, I know they ain't driving fucking Teslas. They driving. Listen, the most conservative people I know. I live in Florida, you know what I'm saying? I'm rich, so I got a lot of conservative friends, right? And their ideal car is like a monster truck, maybe a tank, not a fucking Tesla. The one friend who has a Tesla is a vegan. You know what I'm saying? And so I just felt like when he went right, and then when he appeared to go alt-right, listen, you know sports. I've never given anybody anything like that, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, oh man. That might have just been the tism. So,
definitely. I think so. The other thing is with Tesla is they machine their own parts. And initially, when I saw that, because they have a lot of vertical integration in Tesla, one of the cool things is they're actually able to manufacture a lot of their parts in the United States that a lot of other countries couldn't. So the tariff thing wasn't going to affect them.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Not to the extent it would for other car companies. The other thing that Tesla did is that the patents for their electric drivetrains, they actually made those public because Elon Musk's idea was to get all these cars to become electric. So now you're right. Instead of a Tesla, I can go get a BMW electric car, and I don't have the same political backlash from it. So you're right.
I can get a Hummer.
Correct. Exactly. And so because of that, kind of. But I mean, I don't think he was going to be broke anytime soon. But
no, I think he'll be fine. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I just think I don't think liberals are going to be buying it, and conservatives. I never met a conservative who wanted a Tesla. You know, you got a lot of conservative friends.
Not too many that have a Tesla. No.
Yeah, I just think it's the branding is off from you now. You know what I'm saying? So I just think from a marketing perspective, they have some challenges.
Yeah, and I play paintball on Sundays at Dan Bilzerian's house, and if you show up in a Tesla, they will just roast you for. It's like in the meme chat.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect example. That's why I just think there's a market mismatch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, go ahead, Greg.
He's gonna have to come out with the sex robots, especially if the women are only picking the top 10 to 20%.
Listen, man, if he comes out with sex robots, I'm buying Leap. Call Oxford that day.
I'm buying Leaps $100 out of the money.
You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
I mean, it's a viable business model if it can come out.
If you can figure it out, man. All right, about gold, man. We've been talking about gold. It's been a rocky ride. I made a lot of money off gold, but where you at with it?
Yeah, I'm still of that base case. The last time we talked about gold, I said it prolongates in a wide range. We've done exactly that. I expect gold to probably just go sideways for a few months. I think the real opportunity is in silver. That's just kind of my take on precious metals. Cash flow it if you can. If you want to write covered calls, do something like that, sell cash secured puts.
Let me show you something. I might not do it again, but like every time gold hit, if you look at the on the futures, every time it hit like 3,200,
yeah,
around that range, I would just buy gold contracts, and you can see it did well. You know what I'm saying? Like every time, I don't know if I'm gonna keep drawing from that well though.
Don't molest the move, Brandon.
Yeah, you can't molest the move. You know, you keep doing. But I mean that worked out well for me. All right, cool. You got anything else, Greg?
Oh, I want to get back to the conversation.
All right, brother. Yo, listen, guys. If you guys want to learn more about this, hit up us on our Discord, Victory Unit Discord. All right. I got other free courses in there, shit, and me and Greg be giving advice, and Greg giving free tips in there. Now, if you want to trade with Greg and I, right, you hit up Greg in the Discord. Say you want to join Victory Trades. All right, you're gonna get Greg's trade alerts. I made a lot of money with them. Right, Greg's trade alerts. Link in the description. I'm sorry. Just hit up Greg and say you want to join Victory Trades, and then you get Greg's trade alerts, and you can trade with us at the market open. I trade futures, and Greg trades anything. You know what I'm saying? And we have a lot of fun. It's a good way to start the day, man. Making some money. All right. So
we had a blast. We had a blast on Monday. On Monday, I had my biggest futures profit day. It was
you made like $4,000, right?
On one trade.
Good shit for you, man. Yeah. On one trade, you made $4K.
4.3K. Yep.
Hey, man, I love it, brother. That's what's up, man. Awesome. All right, y'all. All right, yo. So thank you, Greg. All right, Mike. Let's get back to it, man. Let me ask you a question. So you talked about all the things that men are up against, especially in the dating on. What are like 3 things a man can do to improve his not only his life but his sexual market value?
Yeah. Number 1 is the network, like we talked about before. So networks give you access. Networks give you, and again, so it's one of these things that you know, being on the other end of it. I know that in every city there's parties with beautiful women that you as a man are not invited to because you have a penis and they don't need you there. They don't want you there. They seriously don't want you there. And at those parties, it's like 4 girls for every guy. There's these places that are awesome that are going on that you're not invited to because your network doesn't trust you and people don't see any value in you. So one of the first things I tell guys, and it's really cruel. A lot of people don't like hearing this, but your value to society, not your family, but your value to society is based on your utility. The more problems you solve, and you'll notice, like when I go out with you, or if I go out with Wes, or if I go out with Justin Waller, or if I go out with some of you guys, our conversations, we're always solving problems. What do I do with my sales team? How do I run these ads? We're always solving problems for one another, and we build value in one another's eyes because of that. That's how we became wealthy, is because we solve problems. So the first thing I'm going to say is have an incredible network. And that network with those guys that you meet that are you consider to be high status, or if you want to be a mentor for, figure out how to solve problems for them. And sometimes problems they didn't even know they had. Don't ask them what problems they need solved either. That's the hard part, because now you're creating another problem for them. The best thing to do is just to figure out ways to solve problems for those people. And you'll be, if all you did was solve problems for other people and ask for nothing in return, you'd be shocked. Dan Fleischman is probably the best example of this. You'd have just infinite access to anything you wanted. Right? Second thing I will say is you need to figure out a way to at least show perceived status on social media. I just need you to not, I need you for your social media to not disqualify you. Okay.
You don't have to be fucking Tate or fucking a Brazilian.
So what we have is there's pre-selection photos, which are the ones with the girls. You don't have to post those. Some of my clients do. Then there's candid photos of you just doing cool stuff with your friends. And the trick is having a buddy, and he takes candid photos of you, and you take candid photos of him. And we teach you how to do this step by step in the course. And then the third part,
I don't want to skip over that, because that's like marketing, right? Marketing your image, and social media is not just Well, I hate when people say I don't do social media.
Yeah.
No, it's like it would be like in the 80s not having a business card or like, you know.
If you're a billionaire, if you want an Academy Award, you want an NBA championship,
you don't need it.
You don't need social media.
Yeah.
For the rest of you, if you're a man, the idea that you're going to go out and date attractive women. Again, I'm not talking. If you are sitting there with the Huracan and you make like $1 million a year, $1 million a month, and you live in Miami, you're right. You probably can, by word of mouth, just bang super hot chicks that you meet on Seeking Arrangement. I'm not telling you that you can't. I'm talking about for the other 99% of men.
My boy started Seeking Arrangement. One of my friends. Yeah. I'll tell you about that later.
But the average guy in the United States is 5'9", and women say that's not what they prefer. And the average guy in the United States makes $59,000 a year, and women really don't prefer that. And you know, the average guy in the United States is overweight. And women really don't prefer that either. And so when you see those things, you're saying, like, how does that guy get the access to a girl who's outside, who's out of his league? Go back to the study I said before, putting them in the friend zone, having them see your attractive qualities for a number of months. She doesn't friend zone you. You're not her gay friend.
Yeah.
You're not, you still have boundaries. Yeah. My homegirls will tell me stories and I'll be like, that was pretty fucking stupid. You should have broken up with that guy. Yeah. I talk to them like they're a dude, but we're friends. And I do that. And like you said, 9 months, there's no correlation. You can be ugly and date a super hot girl. The data is clear on this. And so you see those concepts. So the first one I said it was networking. The second one is having social media. Like, you guys don't know. Some of you guys are out there. 99% of you watching this, your social media is garbage if you're a man. And if you had one awesome photo of you with some girls on a red carpet smiling, having a great time, where they're happy to see you, that photo's worth 20 grand to you. Yeah. You don't realize it is, but it's worth 20 more than that, 30 grand to you. Because you don't realize having one photo where girls are like, oh, other girls like being around this guy. Yeah. Oh, okay, I am going to open his messages when I talk to him. Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm not going to put him in the request folder. And the problem is, the thing about social media, it's not everything, but it's so little effort for such a massive return. You have to do it.
I know this girl, man. I was cool with her. Like, I hired some of her. She trained salespeople. This chick, Shelby. Yeah. Right. She trained salespeople. We hired some of her girls to do some stuff. Yeah. And she had posted on Instagram that my perfect guy doesn't even have social media. She posted this, right? Then she just got a boyfriend. This dude got 2 million.
Of course, it's always like that. It's like she's saying, but guys, like, please, rule number one in Men of Action is stop listening to the words and just pay attention to people's actions. Women on social media complaining about they don't want to date men who are on social media. Where are they complaining? On social media. Stop listening to the words. Stop.
Even if they meant it, it's not real. Even like, that's why, like, when I'll be on Fresh and Fit and girls say, I want this guy, and Myron tries to get them to lower the standards. Like, Myron, she means that, but she's not lying. But it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You know, I have girls. I know girls who said, "Oh, I don't usually date black guys, but they were with me long time ago, back." Yeah, you know, and, like, long time. And, but it's like, it doesn't. Who gives a fuck what they say? Because the right guy does the right for the right guy. None of that shit.
If you're attractive enough, you can get away with anything.
Right. Yes. Myron would date the right black girl.
Yes. There we go. Myron's,
the right black
Myron's somewhere. I think he's with his family this week. He's probably like, "How dare you?" That's pretty funny. If you want Fresh to show up somewhere, just sprinkling a bunch of white women, and then Fresh just he manifests. He doesn't even travel. He just just magically appears. Wait. You see all these big booty white women? What's going on? Fresh, poof. He manifests.
If you say it one more time, big booty white man. If we say it to me, he might just show up.
Like,
he'll come out the shot. He might be here.
Walter, what are you doing here?
He might be here now. We said it so many times, we just don't see him because it's so dark. You know, we have to put the lights on.
Oh my god.
Those are the homies, man. I love them.
Oh my God. Anyway, the third thing is what we said before: putting hundreds of women in the friend zone, and then having those women. It's so weird. It's like you just flow through these social interactions. When you have two beautiful women with you, you just flow through these interactions. You get invited to everyone. Everyone wants to know your name. Everyone tries to get your IG. Everyone gets your phone number. Just, if you don't believe me, try it. Just try it one time. For me, when I was managing a strip club, I remember there was one day where one of the girls comes to me and goes, "Hey, we're all going to celebrate so-and-so's birthday. We're going to go to 6th Street in Austin, and we're going to celebrate so-and-so's birthday." So I go there, and it's me, and it's 20 girls, and I'm the only guy there. Yeah. And my thought is, oh, damn, other girls are going to see me and think one of these girls is my girlfriend and not like me. Or, oh, my God, do I have to buy alcohol for all these girls?
Is that
Again, guys, I'm 21. I don't know any better. Of course, what happens? They don't even check my ID when I walk in the club. Okay. They don't charge the girls for anything because I'm with 20 hot girls. Yeah. And women are coming up to me, literally just like almost groping me, like, who is this dude with 20 girls? I didn't understand mate choice copying in humans, but like that, I didn't know that's what it was called back then. I just thought we just called it pre-selection back then.
You know, it's funny, man. You know, I met the late Kevin Samuels. I became cool with him. But when I first met him, I remember I was at Mastro's, right? And I was at Mastro's with like 2 girls, right? And we were sitting at a table outside, and then I had to go to the front for something, and I saw Kevin. I was like, "Oh, like Kevin," and he was like, he didn't know who I was, right? That's fine. And he was kind of like trying to be like just be cool. He didn't want to be bothered. I was like, "That's all good." You know what I'm saying? And I was calm, and then I was like, "All right, that was cool. That was whatever, you know." And then I went back, and I was eating with 2 girls, right? And then Kevin was sitting next to him. He was by himself. Maybe, I don't know if it was pretty early, right? So I mean, he probably had something else going on there, right? He's by himself. Next thing you know, man, he comes over and starts talking.
Yes, it's always like that.
That's how I became friends with Kevin Samuels.
It's always like that.
He didn't even know who I was until like way later. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny. I was with 2 girls when it was just me. Yeah, he didn't even want to get to know me.
I can tell you so many of my friends right now who are either extremely successful, wealthy, or whatever. I met them because they saw me with a group of girls. Yeah, and I introduced them to the girls, and I was just chill about it, whatever. And then also the other thing that's kind of we were talking about money, you know, before. The issue with money is this. Using money to create a funnel to bring beautiful women in your life is the correct way to do it. Using money as a crutch because you don't know how to generate attraction is the wrong way to do it. So creating a funnel, meaning like I have a mansion in Mid Beach and I have parties every week. We have brunch, and then we invite a bunch of girls, and everyone has to dress in white, and we have it in it's catered. And I'm not directly giving the girls the money, but women want to be seen at my house. I am going to be surrounded by women. So using money as a funnel to bring beautiful women into my life, that's okay. Using money as a crutch, buying a girl a bag who I'm going on the first date with. That's insanity. But men are doing this all the time. And I know because women are telling me this, right? I had a girl come over to my house the other day. She's on what's that app? Sex Panther. It's kind of like OnlyFans, whatever. And they charge by the minute. Sex Panther. They charge by the minute. So she's on there, and like we're watching the Last of Us or some show. She goes, "Oh, I got to take this call." Goes up, takes the call, comes back. She goes, "I just made $3,500. Like the guy just wanted to talk to me for a long time. And I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Anything that you can think as far as depraved rich men, women are getting this, which is inflating their egos to what they can get. And it's just ruining for everyone else. So my advice is to not play that game for most guys. Again, if you can play the game, if you have the Bugatti and 10 Ferraris and you have the $400 million house, for sure, go for it. But for the rest of you, I would not recommend getting into that game. Instead, the game I would get into is pre-selection and social proof. Having women tell other women that you are an attractive man, or being like, you know, again, I have 2 female friends. Like they're like incredible. I call them my sergeants. And they know exactly what to say to girls to get them interested in me. You know, because they're both like married or they're in relationships and they're just trying to help me. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen is when you have a woman who can do that, how amazing that is for uplifting your life. And then also building your business. It's just incredible. The guests I get on my show, a lot of times there's because a woman introduced me. I am the host of Swimsuit USA's World Championship because a woman who won the thing recommended me to get that job. I have a bunch of jobs. I work at part-time as a trader. I'm a quant for a small fund. Okay. Yeah. So I do only short stock option selling. And the reason I got that job was because of a woman named Karen Bruton who taught me how to trade stock options, right? So it's like, it was connections that happened because women would introduce me to other women or would introduce me to men. And so it's just one of the biggest cheat codes. But the problem is you, as a man, if you've been hurt by women, you have to get over that initial, wait, they're subhuman. I don't fuck all these 304s, blah, 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 whatever.
I don't need friends.
Let me tell you something. 304s are a great way to fucking network.
That's a fact.
Don't date them. You need to be friends with more hoes. Don't date them. I'm not telling you to date them. I'm not telling you to marry them. Threesome with your girlfriend, maybe. But like, don't have them on your show. Absolutely. But be friends with them. Bro, almost every billionaire I've met, it's been some model who introduced me. It's almost always that way. So that's the thing. It's kind of hard for guys to grasp. And then there's a great book. She's a professor of sociology at Boston University. Her name's Ashley Mears. Really great. The woman has a PhD and she was a runway model. And so she went undercover as a bottle rat for 2 years and just basically described the whole models and bottles scene from her perspective as a woman being a PhD in psychology. And one of the things she talked about was in the Hamptons. This is some incredible wealth that you have in the Hamptons, right? The only way guys could get into every party in the Hamptons was, what do you think?
Having girls
with them.
Yeah.
So you did incredible networking opportunities were to be had because you had girls. You couldn't buy your way into these parties. You had to have girls with you. And so like, that's the thing I just keep trying to explain to guys, but it's so antithetical to modern matchmaking, pickup advice, just typical dating advice, whatever. Can most guys be friends with most women? No. Most men cannot be friends with my female friends because they're too attractive. If you did a 15-month deployment in Afghanistan, you can't be friends with women. If you were in jail for 10 years and you get out, first woman you see, you can't be friends with them. But if you have some level of sexual abundance, you're sleeping with women on a regular basis,
the disconnect
it's super easy.
Like so it sounds like you're saying the guys who say don't be friends with girls, the guys who don't really get pussy. Is that what I'm hearing?
But if you get it, like, okay, also here's the other thing. We're in our 40s. Our standards have probably gone up. What you find is physically attractive for me, dude. When I was in college, 18 or to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy, I didn't care. 80 or 280, as Justin Waller says. I was in college. I didn't care. I was just like, wow, sex is incredible. Oh my God. I was in a sexual deficit, right? That's how it was in my 20s. In my 40s, I'm super picky. So because I'm picky, most women are not that attractive to me. Very easy to be friends with women you're not attracted to. In fact, I would recommend if you find a woman you're not attracted to, that's a great person to put in the friend zone. That's terrific. And if you find a woman that you are attracted to and she's married, maybe you're just they're in the same social circle and you don't want to screw that up. That's another great girl to be attracted to.
But not to try to fuck her. See, I think what guys fuck it up is that when they do that weird shit where they're trying to fuck their friends. So that's all the
friend
time.
Zone. Yeah, you get friend zone.
Don't try to fuck your friends like a fucking weirdo. Like actually have girlfriends and fuck their friends or like other women they help you introduce to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But it's always the same thing. I'll meet a girl and let's say she has a boyfriend, but she's a perfect 10 in my eyes. I'll show her no sexual intent whatsoever. I'll invite her to all my events. I'll meet her friends. She'll have me over for parties. We'll do card night, whatever. We do friend stuff. And she'll have a hot female friend, a roommate, whatever. And I'll end up sleeping with her. I end up sleeping with the other one almost every time. The first one,
really?
Because she's
had that experience.
Because she's watching.
I get it
from her standpoint. It's like there's this guy who other women find attractive. We don't fight. There's no drama. There's nothing. And I just keep watching all these other women want to sleep with him, laugh around him, whatever. She can't. This is the part guys don't understand. Attraction isn't a choice. If a woman keeps seeing you in attractive situations, one after another, if she just keeps seeing beautiful women attracted to you, she's going to become attracted to you and she can't help it. That is it's so hard so first of all, women don't even admit that this is true, but it is true. And men, it's so hard for us to grasp this concept. What I'm telling you is that if you had a ton of female friends and they were competing for your attention, there's no game. They can't help but become attracted to you. It's evolutionarily programmed. And that's what makes it so difficult. And I'm the only person since 2008 who's been teaching. There's a couple guys now who are teaching it. Like a couple social circle coaches, but before me, there was nobody.
It was just you. It was you and the other dude. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. And I remember that. And it was, I was like, I was like, you fucking right. No one's saying this.
I mean, if you ever talk to like a club promoter or you forget a club promoter, like a male stripper, like some guy who's just a despot, who's been with hundreds of women. If you ask them, you're like, so every girl you get with is a sex worker? She's a slut? And they're like, no. It's like I get female accountants who've been with one guy their whole life. It's like, wait,
scientists.
But I thought because you're a man who slept with a bunch of women, you only get because of assortative mating and fucking sociosexuality, you only get slutty women. No, women are attracted to attractive men. And men having high body counts does not make them less attractive. I know women will say that. But then if you really ask
when they say it,
they mean it when they say
lying. It's just not true.
But it's just not. It's just not. It really doesn't have that big of an effect. And again, Dr. David Buss from UT Austin, he does a 37 culture study, and he asks men about their preferences for virginity or how many sexual partners, and they ask women. And for women in like Scandinavian countries, a man who was a virgin at 25, she thought he was weird. Men who had high body counts in those Scandinavian countries were not seen as the slightest bit odd whatsoever. So that's the thing that it's just very difficult for a lot of women to understand. It's like the difference between the two, between men and women, is pretty stark.
I've heard girls say that a guy like his like mid 30s or 40s, who's not married or doesn't have any kids, is weird.
But they'll still sleep with him. That's what's crazy. They'll say
sometimes I've heard girls say, but Like, oh, women, nobody wanted to sleep. No one wanted to have kids. No one wanted to marry you. Like they look at him like it's almost negative social proof if you like our age. Sometimes if you never married.
No. Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's they use the term Peter Pan syndrome. Peter Pan syndrome, what it means is a man who doesn't want to grow up. Yeah. If you're a woman and you're dating a rich, a successful man and he doesn't want to settle with you, then all of a sudden he has Peter Pan syndrome.
So it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism. Yeah, it's a pejorative. You're weaponizing words like toxic masculinity. You're weaponizing words to try to fit your narrative.
I didn't even think about that. It's a coping mechanism.
But just think about it like this, right? It's like, I didn't grow up. It's like, okay, hold on. If we were to get married, the percentage chance of us getting divorced in here it's higher, but in national average, 56% chance of getting divorced.
It's higher in Miami.
It's probably it's higher in Texas. Cities like this is always good. 56% chance of divorce. Got it? 80% of divorces are initiated by
women.
Yeah. So you're telling me that me not allowing you to take half my shit is me not growing up? That's my Peter Pan syndrome. Bro, it is crazy to me. It's like, no, there is, for those of you guys who are out there watching this, there's someone in your family, some woman you know, or some beta male cuck fucking female panderer who's telling you that you are less of a man because you're not choosing to wipe up some girl, single mom, whatever. My point is to you, if you wanted to stay single, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not a bad person because you chose to keep your options.
Do whatever you want.
No matter what anyone no matter your fat aunt who's been divorced 3 times, who's trying to give you dating advice at Thanksgiving, no matter what they say, it is I'm here to tell you, it's okay if you want to be single. It's also okay if you want to have kids. It's an incredible thing to have kids, but it's also okay if you want to have
whatever you want to do. You know,
regardless of what Chris GQ Perry tells you or any of those weirdos who's like, you're not strong enough to date a woman who has a kid. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? You're not better than me because you're dating someone with a kid. That doesn't make you better. That's crazy that this narrative is being pushed out. When are men going to step up? I'm like, what if I don't want to do that? And here's the other one. This is for
I don't even have words for that.
This is one for the ladies. If you have any female friends and they say stupid shit like this, well, he broke up with you because he's intimidated by your success.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the fun. It's hilarious to me. It's like, bitch, you maybe you're just a fucking asshole. Like, you know,
here's how you say it. It's not that I'm intimidated by you. For whatever reason, I don't like pickles. I don't know why. I just don't like pickles.
Yeah.
I'm not intimidated by pickles.
Yeah.
It's a preference for me to not be with them. I'm not intimidated by you having a job. I have a preference for not dating masculine women. Yeah. That's all it is. It's a preference that I have. It doesn't mean that I'm intimidated. But the problem is this. It goes back to the weaponization, right? The weaponization of these words like toxic masculinity or Peter Pan syndrome. This problem has 2 issues to it. And that is it's destroying women as well. You're giving women terrible advice. No, you're too masculine and difficult to be in a relationship with. But your friend, instead of allowing you to improve yourself, has lied to you and told you that he left because he's intimidated.
Yeah, you were too much. You were just too much for him.
What are you talking? No, you are too much. But he's not intimidated. I outweigh you by 100 pounds. I'm not intimidated by you, honey. That's not the issue. I don't care how much money you make. It's, are you masculine? Do I really want to be, okay, let's say you make 3 times as much as me. Do I really want to be with a woman who works 80 hours a week? I want sex. I'm not going to be with someone who can't make time for me. That has nothing to do with me being intimidated. It's a preference.
Have you seen this? Like like if you got successful female friends who are like making a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's difficult for them to find.
I'm having dinner with a friend of mine tomorrow. And she makes over $500,000 a year as a sales job. And she's told me the exact same thing. It's like, because there's so few, and it's not her fault. And I love her. And I'm not saying anything she's doing is wrong for her, but the situation is she's so beautiful and makes so much money that from her standpoint, it's like, there's no guy that can really compete. And then when she finds guys that can stand up to what she wants, like they have too many options. Here's the crazy part, right? So according to behavioral psychologists, what should happen, or according to feminists, what should happen is that if women make more money than men, then this necessity for women to want to date rich men should vanish.
Yeah.
That's, if you are a feminist, you believe that.
Yeah.
So they go to countries where women make more money than men, Norway, Sweden, Finland. They go to those countries and you know what those women want?
What do they want?
Men who make even more money than them.
Because only women only guys are stupid enough to date people with less shit than them, or marry only a guy's dumb enough to marry a chick with with less shit than a woman's not going to date that.
But my point is, if a woman like Rihanna was making hundreds of millions a year dating a billionaire, it's like even when they had all their needs met, they still wanted men who made more money than them. So what does that tell you? It's not societal, it's genetic. Women's propensity to want to be with men who have resources is not something that was made up by a patriarchy. It's genetic. And here's the other thing. Here's the other problem with that statement that I just said. When we talk about gender norms. We need to get over these gender norms where men are masculine and they're toxically masculine and they're stoic, all these problems. And women should, the gender norms of staying at home with the kids and nurturing all this stuff, these gender norms that are perpetrated by patriarchy. I'm like, wait a second. Who are women rewarding with sex?
Exactly.
Assertive, dominant, ambitious males. You're telling me if I am assertive and I'm dominant, I'm ambitious, that I get more sex? Well, then guess what my children are going to be? They're going to be assertive and they're going to be ambitious and they're going to be dominant males, competitive males. If you have one gender that is rewarded for being competitive and assertive, of course you're going to have a patriarchy, but the patriarchy is not enforced by men. It's enforced by the desires of women, and women hate this. If you wanted men to stop being narcissists, stop fucking narcissists, but you can't. You can't stop fucking them, can you? You can't. You keep having sex with them, and then you keep complaining about them. Every single attribute that you see in attractive men today is only perpetrated because women rewarded those attributes with sexual access, period. It's inarguable.
I want to ask you a question, but I want to get then I want to get into the super chats because we got somebody threw up $200 on. I want to get to it in a minute, but hold on. Everything I agree with everything you're saying, but there's one thing that I've always wondered about, and it's always confused me. Some of the guys, not the guys who get the most, but some of the guys who get the most pussy that I've ever met was unemployed Dominican dudes in New York.
Yes.
I don't know if they just got more time but they got no job.
Yes.
This is one dude, I heard a story.
Yes.
Right. Where this dude, he was working at like Zara or some shit like that. Right. And he cheated on his girlfriend, used her car to cheat on with another girl. You know what I'm saying? And she took him back. Right. Like he was broke working at Zara. You know what I'm saying? But then like, how does that work? Okay, so we remember in the ancestral period, meaning before the agricultural revolution, there's no money. No one has money. Money is just a corollary for competency. So you can have other things besides. If you're a big, strong man, that's a resource that's like money. And to some women, because women find different things attractive, we as men tend to find the same things attractive. Facial symmetry, hip to waist ratio, we tend to find the same things attractive. Some women only care about money. Some women don't care about money at all. There's some women out there who only care about a man's looks, don't care about anything else. There's some women out there who will only date tall men, even if they're ugly. And there's some women out there who will only date incredibly handsome men, even if they're short. There's just women have what's called negative kurtosis in statistics. They have a wider range of things that they are attracted to. So the reason why this guy is crushing it is because probably some level of physical attractiveness. But you want to know the other thing? I almost guarantee you. What's that? She heard from her friends that he fucks really good. That's what it is. She heard from her friends that this guy's good in bed. Yeah. And by the way, this is a way off topic here, but rule number 6 in MOA is no one needs to know how much money you make or who you're fucking or where you live. It's from 10 Crack Commandments by Biggie Smalls. They don't need to know where you stay at, right? No one needs to know your business. You don't need to qualify to anyone. You do not need to tell your boys you banged a 10. But if she brags to her friends that she banged you, oh my God. When you've had that happen, one time my homegirl, so I ended up hooking up with a girl that I've been friends with for more than 9 months, exactly like the survey said, probably the most attractive woman in my mind that I'd ever been with. Okay. We ended up hooking up. And then her roommate was one of my good friends. And I didn't tell her roommate that I slept with her. Yeah. But she told her roommate I slept with her. Do you want to know what happened next? I know exactly what happened. You got it's like an Amazon review. Of course. And I ended up sleeping with the roommate. And that's obviously what happened next because it didn't even matter that she said that I was good. It's that she's bragging about having sex with me. Do you understand what a paradigm flip that is? That's why you as men don't run your mouth. So here's the thing. If you want to be the dude who doesn't count, you don't truly know women. You don't truly understand women until you're sitting at your place working or playing video games and some girl's on a date and leaves the date, brings the leftover food to your place to have sex with you after some other guy paid for the date. When that happens, that's when you truly begin to understand women. Or can you ever had them come to you before they went on the date? Yes. Oh my God. Those are the wildest, bro.
Oh, bro, I have some stories. Yeah, that's why it's like she's gonna go meet her sugar daddy and comes over to your place first. Yeah, like you don't truly understand. But here's the thing, like, and this is really hard for especially a lot of guys in Miami who use money as a crutch. Every single woman that you know that is having sex with a dude who is paying them, could be a prostitute, could be a sugar daddy, whatever the reason is. Every one of those women has another guy she's sleeping with who isn't paying her. And there is no exception to this. And she does not respect you more because you spend a bunch of money on her. There's no exception to this. And it's really hard for guys to deal with that concept because they're like, because if you think women only care about money, then all you need is money. And then you should get a woman. And then when she leaves you, it's like, well, yeah, that's because only women care about money. But if you're a man who's actually generated genuine desire from a woman, you know that isn't true. But most men haven't gotten that. They haven't gotten that. And what they'll do is they'll see a woman who's attractive and they're like, I'm going to offer you value, show you intent just because you have big boobs. There's no other reason. Well, in her mind, you look like a valueless loser. That's the thing. What I'm recommending is have a social circle, have her see other women interact with you and just like offer her value. Be like, hey man, yeah, I'll help you out. There's one girl, I'm seeing now. I just helped her with her podcast. So she met me with my girlfriend. I just helped her with her podcast. And then when me and my girlfriend broke up, then I started seeing her because all she saw was attractive qualities in me the whole time. And I never hit on her one single time. That's the trick. And guys don't understand that, but it flips the paradigm. Me having a beautiful girlfriend was testament to her. Okay, there must be some good stuff going on with this guy, and I never bragged about any of it. And then when we had the opportunity, then the whole thing flipped. And so that's really hard for guys to grasp. And any guy can do this. It doesn't matter how short you are, how brown you are, or if you're from a small town, whatever. This is always is capable for everyone. And here's the other thing: older guys, you and me, like I'm almost 50, right? You're 40 something years old.
42.
42. And when I don't see the women I date, I'm seeing a girl right now is one's 23, one's 24, one's 28. They don't look at me like I'm 50 because I'm in shape. The reason why women say they don't want older men sometimes is because older men in this country are fat. Choosing to keep yourself in shape. That's it.
That's it makes a big deal.
It does,
man.
Could you imagine like the amount you like in a competition for women versus you when you were 22? Oh yeah. Today you'd kill that good dude because
I was really handsome when I was young. Like straight up. Okay, man. Like I was on billboards.
Yeah, you were a male model, right?
So I'd have some stiff competition, but my resources, right? Like even though I may not be in that category anymore, right? Like but it's like now it's like the other. I get what you're saying.
But the 22-year-old me, I would be like I would completely outpace him because what I would do is I'd get the girl to talk about herself. I'd introduce her. I have a very strong rule. If I like a girl, I introduce her to a girl I'm sleeping with. And so I
wait a minute, say that again, man.
If I like a girl, I introduce her to a girl I'm sleeping with.
Come on, man. Come on, this motherfucker.
It works. It works. It's
this is some of the best game, like honestly, that I've heard in a long time. You know what I'm saying? I don't need it, of course, right? Yeah. But like this is some of the like the shit you're saying is some of the fucking realest shit that I've never heard people say, and that I agree with wholeheartedly.
Because we just took the data from evolutionary psychology and sociological studies, and then we compared it to men who actually had sex with women, who actually had success with women, not guys who said they had success with women, not pickup artists who were spinning girls around and picking them up and getting instant makeouts. That's not sex. That's not success with women. So we found guys who actually had success with women, and we compared that to what the sociological data was giving us, and then came out with a framework that is bulletproof. That's essentially where we came up.
And I want to get into super chats in a minute, but where can they find out more about you?
Go to moamentoring.com. You can go there and you can see that we can sign up for like a free audit that we do of your social media, and we go through a bunch of stuff like that. I also have a group on school, the Men of Action Forum. If you guys want to join, it's $5 a month. You guys can join it. We have free calls that we do in there.
That's dope. So let's get into some of these super chats. Yes. They've been stacking up, man.
We have Jason. What do you think about this high carb, low fat diet to get shredded that Mark Bell been doing? I've just started. Anti-keto feels good.
Okay, that's what's up. Oh, that was for me. He gave a $200, man. Shout out to the homie. And everything works, bro. Everything works. Like, there's a lot of people got what is he doing? High carb, low fat. Yeah, a lot of people have got in great shape with that, right? I prefer something different, right? But it doesn't mean one's better or worse. It's like you got to find what's best for you, right? So they're both anything at work, man. You know, like 5 + 1 is 6, but 3 times 2 is 6 too. Like however you get there, you get there. There's infinite ways to get to the number 6, and it's different. It's the same with diet. You just got to pick the one you like the most. Whatever you can stick to and do consistently is going to be most advantageous for you.
We have Leo, a question for Michael. Michael, big respect to you. What do you think will happen to the dating market in the next 10 years? AI bots coming? Will there be a point where only a few of us can tell who's real?
Shout out to Leon. He's on every week. Always he's a big supporter.
So this is a really interesting dichotomy. So I want you to think about this. President Trump talked about getting rid of taxes on tips.
Yeah.
Okay. So taxes on tips, you would get rid of that, which is going to benefit a lot of cocktail servers and a lot of strippers, right?
Yeah.
And then these OnlyFans content creators, right? So you as a woman, there's only so many people you can message back. There's only so much work you can do, and you only have your own images. But if I'm an AI content creator, and by the way, here's the craziest part. If I have girl A and I use her face for my AI, I have to pay her, right? She's copyright infringement. Yeah. If I have girl B, then I have to pay her. But if I take an amalgamation of girl A and B, I don't have to pay either one of them.
Pay nobody.
Now let's say I'm a guy and I've got code and I have 1,000 AI influencers. And then let's just say that the technology gets good enough to where people either don't know it's AI or don't care. What happens is my scalability as an AI content creator is 1,000,000x what the average girl is. The girls at the top on OF, they're probably going to still hold their position. But what's going to happen is every girl that's below the AI influencer, the replacement level girl, is going to be kicked out of the OnlyFans market.
I know a dude who's he's got
it's Miami, it's full of them.
AI girls.
Yeah,
and then he's running like with he's got AI girls and he knows AI and he's making money.
Yes,
right, like selling their OnlyFans to these AI girls that he's made. And then he has like a bunch of Filipinos talking to the guys.
The Filipinos, the account managers.
So he's got like a bunch of AI girls making money for him.
So here's the thing that happens. What my prediction is when we get to a replacement level AI avatar where we care more about that, where the average customer cares more about that than like a real girl, strip clubs are going to be flooded with girls coming back, because after COVID they were just empty. They're like, there's nowhere near as many attractive women at strip clubs now as there used to be all across the country. And same thing, you saw Hooters is now
me and my girl, we went to Spearmint Rhino and she was like, I'm not really.
Yes. Hooters just filed for bankruptcy. This is another reason. What you're going to see is women just flooding back into Twin Peaks, Hooters. You're going to see them going back into bottle service, and then eventually elevate to real estate agent. If you have sex with enough dudes, eventually you go real estate agent and then woman of God. And you finally, the Brittany Renner trek. Eventually you become Muslim or a woman of God. That's eventually how it ends.
That's how it works. It's real estate.
The
real estate agent is so funny, man.
But what you're going to see though is the AI influencer is going to push so many women out of these spaces. That you're going to see a lot of, like what I would expect is a lot of these jobs where like strip clubs, I think are going to be full of girls here pretty soon.
Because there's people who want and then there's probably be a market like some guys who would rather talk to a real girl, or a real person.
But we're going to get to a point where you won't know.
It'll be indistinguishable through your phone.
Yeah, you won't know.
Through a screen.
Well, I mean, the way it is right now, you fellas, all of you are paying girls on OF to talk to them. 100% of you are talking to Filipino men.
100%. My boy runs the agency, and
you're not talking to any girls. You're talking to only Filipino men, Indonesian,
gay as hell. Man.
Yeah, that's all you're talking.
Yeah. I know because I invested in my boy's agency. Yeah. So like I saw it's
yeah. So I mean, that's what I expect to see in the future. And the other part of the dating, and I've said this before, and I get crucified by some people, but it's true. When you start having androids, like these robots that are going to be good enough, not me and not our children. I think my son, your son, our kids would not do this. But like say our great grandkids, they're going to grow up with the AI robot the android that is so realistic that she's actually prettier and more obedient than whatever. She gives her less drama than the average woman. And you're going to see guys become addicted to that. That's going to become the norm. You're going to see droves of men fucking robots in like the next 50 years.
Well, it's going to have a whole harem of robots.
Well, I mean, but just think about it. If you were 16 years old and you had some weird uncle come bring you 4 sex robots that like could look any way you wanted, you would have no interest in real women. There are men right now who've taken
yeah.
themselves out of the dating market watching pornography. You don't think that sex robots wouldn't do the same thing?
Man,
Of
I'm
course
right there
they will.
with you, man. I made a whole video. I made a
Yeah.
video. Didn't we make a video about it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's inevitable what's going to happen. And then when that happens, here's the crazy part. There's going to be a few guys out there who's like, I want some real women. And it's the tables are going to turn. It's going to be like one dude who actually wants to talk to women, and then a bunch of women like, oh my God, a real penis. Oh my God, they're going to be chasing, objectifying this man because it'll be like one or two dudes, super high testosterone dudes who actually want to have sex with real women.
I think it may be sooner than you might.
I mean, the way AI works, it could be 5 years.
Yeah.
But like I'm telling you, in the next 50 years, I guarantee you we're going to see this.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we're going to see. And so you're going to see this massive bifurcation. Also, there's another thing that's crazy. You're going to be, there's new DNA research where they're going to be able to create babies out of alleles of people who are the same sex. So you're going to see women having children with other women. Look it up. Ray Kurzweil just wrote a book about this. The singularity is near. He talks about this concept. And what you're going to have is women who don't need men to have kids.
Jurassic Park.
Exactly. Women who don't need men to have kids, and men who are having sex with robots. Population destroyed. This true bifurcation of the two genders is going to be, I think, how this whole thing ends. But until then, if you wanted to date hot girls, make female friends. Until then, sorry, enjoy the decline.
What else we got?
Yeah.
We have Nav. How do you build a strong social circle when you're grinding a lot?
This is great. So a couple things I would tell you in the course, we go over this very specifically. So in the course, you want to educate yourself. I know this is a little bit different from networking.
Yeah.
But you see all these books. I would have audiobooks, and I'd be listening to the audiobooks
All
at
the
double
time.
speed whenever I'm in the car, whenever I'm in the gym, or whenever I'm eating.
You gave it. I saw Instagram. You gave that tip to do that.
Yeah.
And I was telling people, like, my sales team, we talk about sales. Well, every time I would tell my sales team, this is what you do. This is what I did when I needed to make a bunch of money to pay some back taxes. And I needed to make a bunch of money fast. And I was doing sales. Yeah. And I got 2 pair of waterproof headphones. This is like, I don't know, this might have been 2017. Yeah. Right. And I got 2 pair of waterproof headphones. Right. And I would listen to sales shit all the time. Ebooks, trainings.
Yes.
And if I wasn't talking to another person, either on a sales call or talking to one of my friends, I would be listening to sales training. The reason it was waterproof because it was in the shower too.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
In the shower, I do that too
all the time. And I was doing it on just the one subject, and I called it the total immersion strategy. And man, it seemed like I did it with sales, and like the game slowed down. Right? Half some of your salespeople do is total immersion. And I met some people like this happened. Like, baby, this happened like twice, right? I'm a sales guy. I did total immersion strategy. I made over 100 grand. I had my first 100 grand month. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They stopped me in the street, but you're saying doing it on all subjects.
Okay, so now you're doing that. So the question he's asking me is, how do I build a social circle while I'm grinding? I'm helping you grind right now. Okay, the greatest book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
That's the homie. Yeah,
I'm gonna have him on my show at some point.
You know him?
Yeah, I messaged him a couple times.
Okay, I introduce
you. So Dan Martell, great, just life-changing book. Yeah. Now I start paying people to remove parts of my life that are not bringing me energy and that I'm waged out of. I actually make too much per hour to be doing to take my dry cleaning, whatever it is, my video editing. So you do these things, right? And then the One Thing by Gary Keller, one of the greatest books I've ever read.
It's really good.
Right? It teaches you.
Really good, bro. I made a whole video about that.
Yeah, an unbelievable book. So One Thing by Gary Keller, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, right? And then also listening to audiobooks. Now, what happens is your grind becomes more condensed. I also recommend a few other things. I recommend, instead of going to some gym that's far away, go to a gym in your building. Go move it to a high rise that has an incredible gym. Save so much time.
I do that, man. I don't even go. I have a bunch of gym memberships, and I almost never go to the gym because the gym in this building is so dope. Yeah,
same thing. Panorama in Vegas is the same thing. That's like incredible gym. So that's the thing. So what I do is make your grind more efficient. Yeah. Now what happens is the networking thing, the social circle thing you're doing is now what you're doing is investing in your ability to make more money. Right. It's your, was it Dan Pena, I think is his name. He talked about every one of you is just 10,000 handshakes away from becoming a multimillionaire. So it's like shake more hands. This is what real estate agents understand this. So it's like what you're thinking is, I'm on my grind, and how do I do that and build a social circle? No, this is part of your grind. The social circle is part of the grind. It's the part that exponentially grows your money-making ability by having the network to do those things, right? Does it make sense? And when you get good enough, then you get like in my situation, some people are paying to go to the Ty Lopez mastermind, I'm speaking at the Ty Lopez mastermind, right? If you and me went to the 10X conference, they'd be buying tickets. You and I would be backstage at the 10X conference.
Yeah, Jared, I remember once when they did it at the stadium, Grant Cardone's got Jared. He just hit me up, say, you want some tickets? I got the free VIP tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, is that you now the people, the mentors that can give you the most information that can make you millions of dollars just over dinner. Like if you ever had like with really smart people, if you go to dinner, they're all racing with each other to pay the bill. And they're just having casual conversations about things that can fix your sales team, can fix your SEO. These guys are geniuses, and you hang out with these guys and then you learn a ton. Well, how do you do that? It's through networking. So now while you're paying $100,000 a year for this mentoring, I'm getting it for free because I built a social circle versus people that are full of people that are more successful than I am. And how did I do that? Once again, I had a ton of female friends who introduced me to these dudes.
Man, I'm telling you, it's a cheat code. Female friends,
Yeah,
it's just
it is a
life cheat code. Even it doesn't matter what you're trying to. If you're trying to make more, if you're trying to network, it's helped me with that. Like all my female friends, I introduce them to guys. You know, maybe some happens, maybe some doesn't. Right, but it helps with the networking for sure.
The networking is so incredible, and it just the exponential way in which you can grow your business, or maybe you acquire someone else's business, or maybe you're like looking for a competent CEO to take away some of the tasks that you have in your business. The only way to really do that, it is not through LinkedIn. It's not through Fiverr. It's through the networks that you have and the word of mouth that you have. So the thing that I would reframe the question that he asked. Number one, become more efficient on your grind. And number two, understand social circle is part of the grind.
Yeah, I like that. What else we got? We got to kind of race through these next three.
We have RS. Michael, have you found your Latina wife in Miami yet?
Have you found a Latina wife? Russian. No, there's no, I don't have a wife here, but there's I don't know. I like Latina girls. I just like them the same as everyone else. But one thing, you have a lot of them here in Miami.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I landed at 7 a.m. and it's
he just got here.
I've just been here 12 hours.
The man some
so
time.
give me tomorrow afternoon. Maybe I'll have a Latina wife.
She's out there looking for you.
And remember, if you like a girl, you introduce her to a girl you're sleeping with.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
100%, man. What else we got?
We have Harden. BBC, is your influencer mentorship still available?
Yeah, Nima, do you have a link for that for him?
It's I did put the webinar, but can add it.
You influencer domination accelerator. You can learn. You can join that for sure. All right, what else we got?
And last one, we have Nav again says, Myron says female friends are useless.
Yeah, listen. Myron's a friend of mine who says a lot of things I don't agree with, and I don't have to agree with everything one of my friends says to be friends with him. That's too high of a criteria for friendship.
Yeah. So what Myron is talking about is like he doesn't see a mentor that he would have that's female that would be useful to him.
Yeah.
I work in animal rescue, so there's a lot of females that are actually very useful in helping me with that. But the thing is, when he's talking about this is, what most guys consider a female friendship is like your dick is still hard for her. You still want to have sex with her. You still covet her body, but at the same time, you're pretending to be her friend. Yeah. In that case, what Myron's saying is absolutely true. And not only are they useless, they're actually hurting your status with other women. What I'm telling you before, and by the way, just be clear, I go on Fresh and Fit all the time. I'm going on tomorrow, probably the 17th time I've been on. Yeah. And I will tell you, there's a bunch of girls that are on the show who, when they have to kick the girls out, those are the girls who are kicking the girls out. Myron's never putting his hands on the girls. Yeah. It's never doing that. Those girls, I promise you, regardless of what Myron, Fresh, any of those guys say, if some dude put their hands on, like Icy, she used to, Icy, she's one of the girls who does the recruiting. If some dude put their hands on Icy, we would beat the shit out of that dude. Yeah. That's a friend. Regardless of what you want to call it, that girl is the homie. She's on our side. We're at her birthday party. If she died, we'd go to her funeral and we'd give her a present for her if she had a baby.
If you don't call that a friend,
that is a friend. Yeah. It's not what you guys think, but like the guys who you think don't have any female friends, they do have female friends. It's just what the way Rich Cooper talks about it is that these are acquaintances or they're associates. That's the word they use. Because a lot of people don't like the idea of female friend because they want to reserve friend for like their male friend. Yeah. But for me, because because like there's no way. I host the 3 biggest bikini competitions in the world. The one at Republic, which is now called Palm Tree, the one for Swimsuit USA, and the one for Paradise Challenge. I host the 3 biggest in the world. If you think it is possible for me to recruit 400 girls to a bikini competition without having female friends, you are deluded or retarded. There's no, I don't understand how you understand that. In some instances, yes, I can understand how having female friends would be less than optimal. But in a lot of instances, they can be helpful. And when it comes to meeting women, they're the ultimate cheat code.
Yeah, some people like Tate said, Tate's the homie. I've known Tate since before he was famous. Man. Like, and he was saying, yeah, you can't have female friends. She's not ready to fight. And I get that, right? But it's like I got male friends who ain't ready to fight. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're still useful, right? They might like. I know this guy. He knows all about AI. He's a really useful friend. Yeah, but like that's not the guy I want to go to fight a war with.
But here's the difference. I'll bet you Andrew has met an incredibly successful dude through a female. At some point in his life, he just doesn't consider her a friend. I would consider that a friend. Yeah, that's the only difference. It's just the words we're using. It's just different semantics. It's just different semantics. That's all it is. And the thing that I found is it's just like my life is so. I just love my birthday. If you guys don't believe me, I show up every year to some Tao Group property. Shout out to Jason Strauss, Tao Group. I show up to some Tao Group property every year for my birthday with 50 girls, no dudes. I don't even tell dudes that I'm having a birthday party. And then I message a bunch of guys. I'm like, all right, you guys can come at 1 o'clock in the morning and they can come to my table and I've got 50 girls with me. Yeah. When I do that for the rest of the year, anything I want to do, I can get into. The people are offering me tickets to shit. I don't have to pay for anything. Everyone wants to come on my podcast. Like it's crazy the networking you can do just from understanding this one concept. And it's very easy to do when step 1, fix your social media. Step 2, build a list. Step 3, get a bunch of open threads. And step 4, have 6 female friends that you go to an event with. Yeah.
And it's like, and man, anybody can do this, man.
Anybody. Yeah. And specifically, if you are a less than attractive man, this is the best bet for you.
It's the best.
It is the best. If you are an older man and you want to date younger women, this is the best bet for you. Yeah. And one other thing, there's no drugs or alcohol. So I've never been drunk in my entire life. I've never tried any drugs. One of the things that we get a lot of questions like, oh, this is just a bunch of partying. I'm like, I've never been drunk.
I don't, you know what? I haven't drank in 10 years.
Yeah.
No recreational drugs.
It's hard for these guys to understand this. We do this with no drugs, no alcohol, and we never, ever lead with money ever. That's going to be the next biggest objection. The haters in the comments. We do not lead with money. Ever when it deals with these women, because once you lead with money, you can never go back. The guys who take a bunch of steroids, when they get that big, they can never go back to being that big without taking steroids. Yeah. And when you lead with money with a woman, you can never get back to where you are without leading with money. Once you lead with money with a woman, you can never do anything else. Yeah. You can't go from provider to like sex toy. Like I want women who date me to see me as like this viable sexual object, to desire me sexually, even if I was broke. If I lead with money, I can never get that. But if I lead with attraction, then later on, if she turns out to be an incredible woman, then I can provide for her because she's bringing peace to my home and maybe a child into my life. That woman, I can provide for her. So I can start with genuine desire and move to money, but I can't start with money and then move to genuine desire. And there's a bunch of men right now in seeking arrangement who don't understand that concept.
Or maybe they just don't care.
Yeah, or maybe they don't care.
Right?
Yeah.
They're just
maybe
like ordering pizza.
Yeah, for sure.
What I'm saying? Like instead of ordering pizza instead of making it.
It is a little damaging if you do that to try. Like some of my hardest clients to deal with are the ones that have become addicted to prostitutes. Yeah. So because what happens is now I put them in a situation where they have to approach regular women. So now they're fucking a 10, but now they have to go through my program and get rejected by a 6 because they have no game.
I get it. It'd be like person who's only ordered food and now you tell them to cook.
Yeah. Well, they're a trust fund kid and you take the money away. Like they're terrified. They don't know. They were using that as a crutch. And so that's one of the issues that happens. And so some of the hardest guys for me to deal with aren't the guys who don't have game. Some of the hardest clients I have are the ones that pay women for sex and think they have game when they don't have any.
Because that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I get it. You got one more, then we got to go.
We have Nav. Should I drive a Camry instead of a Lambo if I don't want to lead with money?
What I would do, my answer to this is I would buy a car that you think is comfortable. If you really love a Lambo, that's fine. I would maybe have a Camry and a Lambo and then pick her up for the first date in the Camry and see how she likes it. Yeah. And then the second date, you had a good time, then pick her up in the Lambo,
Mm.
but only if you want the Lambo.
If you like it.
If you like it, like if you live in Los Angeles and you drive a Lamborghini, you just don't care about your car.
Yeah.
That is the worst roads in the world to drive a Lamborghini on. You will scuff that thing up. If you live in Miami, I know there's a lot of Lamborghinis here, but you don't like, I want some open road if I'm going to drive something like that.
I haven't had a car in like over 15 years.
Yeah, this is the other thing. A lot of guys now, just because of Uber, they don't have any cars whatsoever.
I have a fleet of private drivers.
Yeah.
Everywhere I want to go.
Yeah. By the way, I bought this Sky Dweller to network with men.
Bro,
women don't give a shit. That's a Richard Mills. Like that car. I mean, like, people don't understand. Like this is men notice this. If a woman comes up to me and goes, "Is that the blue Sky Dweller?" I'm like, "Are you a hooker? Like, how the fuck did you know that? How did you know that's a Sky Dweller?" Like, women just don't care about this at all.
Yeah.
I go to women who have Rolexes on, and I ask them what kind of Rolexes. They don't even know.
They don't even know.
They just saw something pretty. Like this is not for you. You remember Chris Bumstead, the physique bodybuilder? He goes on Chris Williamson after he wins Mr. Olympia, and he goes, "What have you noticed from doing the bodybuilding on your social media?" He goes, 99% men.
Yeah.
Just men. Men chase after me. When you see these guys who are pickup artists and they're like out there trying to teach guys how to meet women, who is their entire social circle? Men.
Yeah.
It's just men following around. It's nothing but men. And so that's essentially what happens. But yeah, you do this to network with
For sure.
men,
Same with
women.
cars too, right? Like,
Yeah.
because with the car guys who are, I'm not a car guy, but guys who are car guys, they typically got some money. You know what I'm saying? Like my boy Jeremy, he's got like 4 supercars.
Yeah.
And he talks to other car guys about cars. Me and him talk about watches and shit, you know. But like guys like watches, cars, you know, and it helps. It's another way to network. For sure. Yeah, awesome. Well, listen, Mike, man, I know you said it before, but it bears repeating. Where can people get more information?
Just go to, just look me up on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way. I really like people to start with Instagram because a lot of people don't have one or it's not curated very well. If you've ever you've reached out to somebody to come on their podcast or a girl's like try to slide in your DMs or whatever, Instagram has its own language to it. There's like an unsend feature. There's like, you can see their images. You can share memes on there. Learn that if you're a 50-year-old guy right now, like guys, I'm a retired U.S. Air Force captain. I flew Spec Ops for 5 years. Do you think I want to use a fucking dog filter? Do you think I want to do? No, I'm just a whore to what works. So just learn the language of Instagram. So I would recommend, guys, go look up Michael Sartain on Instagram. The easiest way to find me, or you can look up Michael Sartain on YouTube. That's another way to find me. And there's a link in the bio. If you like what you see, click the link in the bio, and then we can we'll set up a call. It's going to be with me or one of my coaches right afterwards, and we can go through and look step by step at what's going on. Or you find out, hey, you just wanted some free advice. That's what we're there for. We can do that as well.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Of course,
brother, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that game. Listen, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, one more thing. Tomorrow, if you want to learn how to grow your online fitness business, right? Tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'm doing a free training where I will show you exactly how to grow your online fitness business, how to go, even if you don't have a big following, even if you're not certified, even if you don't have any experience, I will take you by the hand, show you step by step how you can get your first clients, grow your social media, all that shit. I'm gonna break you to all the game. I'm not gonna sell you anything. It's 100% free game. Come join. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And but we only have, last time we did this, the webinar fucking we got overflow for the servers and it crashed, so we're going to limit how many people can go. So make sure you register now so you don't miss out on that. All right, it's tomorrow at 7 p.m. All right, again, this has been the Victory Talk podcast, episode 199. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, man.
brother.
This is great.